Hello, this is Ralph back again, and in this video I'm going to do a review of the Motherpeace Tarot deck, and this is a round tarot deck. It's designed by Karen Vogel and Vicki Noble, and it's got a very strong feminine feel to it, and also a very strong aboriginal and shamanic feel to it. And there are a few differences with the Motherpeace deck. Namely, well, the first one here, obviously, is that it's round. And I like the look of the round cards. It just looks nicer than the regular square and rectangular cards. And as I mentioned before, it also has a more of an aboriginal feel to it. Like this is the Fool card. And here we have a naked figure. Could be male, could be female. It's kind of indistinct. And instead of a dog, this figure is being accompanied by a rather large cat and a crocodile and a vulture. And yeah, it does have that kind of aboriginal feel to it. Now, the Hierophant. The Hierophant card in most other decks traditionally is represented by a male figure in robes. Here we have what looks to be like a female figure wearing robes, and she is backed up or counterbalanced by a male figure with two swords. And then we have two women, actually more than just two women, a group of women who are bowing in reverence to the Hierophant. So here we see that feminine energy at work here, and it's balanced by the masculine energy. So very nicely done. Very nicely done deck. Now, another difference about the Motherpeace Tarot deck, in most tarot decks you have the page, and then you have the knight and the queen and the king. Now, the court cards for the Motherpeace deck, instead of the page, you have the daughter. Here we see the Daughter of Cups. So, interesting take on that. Instead of the Knight, you have the Sun. And this is the Sun, S-O-N, the Son of Wands. So again, kind of an interesting twist on an old favorite. And then the Queen. Instead of the Queen, you have the Priestess. And this is the Priestess of Swords. And then instead of the King, you have the Shaman. And here we see the Shaman of Cups. So, you know, the artwork on this is pretty neat. You got a little bit of nudity in some of the cards, kind of an artistic nudity. So some people that may be a problem. It's not for me. We're all adults here. But very nicely done. Now, what I want to do next is to illustrate one interesting aspect of using a round deck. And for this, we're just going to go ahead, mix up the cards a little bit. By the way, that's what the backs look like. And not really do a real reading here, but just kind of throw out. We're just literally going to throw the cards, throw down 3 cards here, and we're going to see how they turn out. Now, in most traditional decks that are either square or rectangular, the card can either come up as upright or upside down, upright or reversed. With a round deck, you don't know what you're going to get. Now, that's reversed. This is kind of sideways. And this is sideways. So, yeah, how do you interpret sideways cards? Well, one thing we could do, and one thing I do with my decks, is that I don't read reversals. And so if you're like that, if you don't really read reversals, or if you don't want to read sideways cards, just make up your mind that with this deck, you are going to turn everything right side up and interpret it there. That's upside down. So that's one way to get over that problem with sideways cards. The other thing you can do is just decide, hey, I'm going to go with it. I'm going to let it be sideways and just let my intuition figure things out. So like if we were doing a reading with those cards, we could say, okay, the Six of Swords is in the past, indicating that you had problems in the past, you are moving ahead, and you're trying to leave those problems in the past, and you are moving ahead into safer territory, moving into a better situation for yourself. Now, the present energy here, the Hanged Man, which here is called the Hanged One, and that is our sideways card. And we could give that a meaning, saying, okay, right now you're working through your problem still. You're working through your problem by way of self-sacrifice. You're giving of yourself. You are really working hard to solve these problems. And seeing as how the head of this card is pointing towards the past, we can say that that may indicate that the hard work uh, resolving past issues is something that is in the past, and you are preparing now to leave that behind. So that's one way you can use your intuition to kind of interpret a sideways meaning. If it's pointing sideways to the left, we can say that, okay, that is indicating energy of the past. If it's pointing sideways to the right, then we can say that is indicating energy that is more relevant to the future. And then, of course, here we have the Priestess of Wands, indicating creativity, power, mastery, and saying that is something that is in the future energy and will carry itself out further into the more distant future, and just indicate that, because it is sideways pointing to the right. So that's one way to deal with a weird positioning in a round deck, is just say, okay, this is either we read sideways as being indicative of direction, either past or future, or we just say the heck with it and we straighten them up and we just read everything as right side up. Because, again, with the round decks, there's no telling where they are going to end. And that one, that one, it's kind of hard to tell. That's right side up, I guess. Okay, that's right side up. So there you have it. That's my review for the Motherpeace Tarot deck. Very nicely done deck. And if you like round cards, I mean, this deck is perfect. So if you want to go ahead and check them out, I think I got this deck on Amazon. And if I can find a link to this deck on Amazon, I will include that in the video description below this video. So if you like this video, go ahead, give it a thumbs up. And if you would like to subscribe, please go ahead and turn on the bell, the notification bell symbol, so that every time I upload new material, you will be notified. So until later, this is Ralph signing out, wishing you good fortune in your tarot reading pursuits.